Hey everybody, welcome back. It's time for me to discuss another topic and give you my personal experiences with it. And this time it is loneliness. It's a feeling that sucks, basically. But let's see what Wikipedia has to say about it, shall we? Loneliness is a complex and usually unpleasant emotional response to isolation or lack of companionship. Loneliness typically includes anxious feelings about a lack of connection or communication with other beings, both in the present and extending into the future. As such, loneliness can be felt even when surrounded by other people. The causes of loneliness are varied and include social, mental, emotional, or even physical factors. And then a whole bunch of other stuff. And yeah. But yeah, basically, a lack of a connection, communication with other people, that's definitely what my issue is a lot of the times. And I'm sure other people here can relate. But it's not something that I just get like every now and then. It's pretty much something that I've had since I was a child. I've felt lonely. Uh, Even when it comes to musically, I can relate quite well to people who make music about the loneliness feeling. That's why people like Kid Cudi I can relate to quite well. You know, it sucks, man. It really does. And yeah, it is complex because you can be lonely and be surrounded by people. You can be lonely and be with one person, two, three, four. You can be lonely and be in a party. You can be lonely and be in a supermarket. You can be lonely and be in bed with someone. Trust me, I've been in all of those situations, all of them. And you can be lonely and be on the phone with someone in a conversation, a call, eating. It's just, because it's just not the speaking or whatever that's the issue. It is also the lack of connection that is the main point. If you're not connecting with that person you feel on like an emotional level and whatnot, it's loneliness. Um, like example, as a child in school, I was quite lonely. I didn't really make any friends in school. I was by myself mostly as a kid. Like elementary school, spent recess a lot of time alone, walking around. Just chilling by myself. Um, wasn't really. I wasn't invited to things. I wasn't a part of any clubs, any groups, nothing like that really. Talked to a few people here and there in school, not outside of school really. I was my own group of friends, a few. But sometimes even with friends, you can feel lonely. In my own family, I feel lonely a lot of times. It's not nice. It sucks. When you feel like, especially when you feel like you should be able to relate to someone and connect with them, but you can't. It's just like that's the family thing. It's like we're family, we're relatives, we're kin, we're blood. Like, and I'm with you, and I'm so lonely. Like, and that's why sometimes I try to differentiate or explain the difference between loneliness and being alone because they are not the same, but they are similar. Loneliness is different because when you're lonely, it's just sorry, freaking something in my throat. Being alone just means there's no one around. Okay, you can be alone and not really feel lonely, I suppose, but you can be lonely and not be alone. They're not mutually exclusive, I guess you could say. Um, I've been with a group of friends just chilling at their house, my house, and I feel lonely because I'm not connecting. A lot of times I begin a conversation with a group of people and I'm just like, I don't belong here. I don't fit. I don't get it. I don't understand. Um, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel safe or anything along those lines. I don't feel like I'm connecting, like I'm saying the right thing, or I don't feel like I'm being listened to or understood or acknowledged, various words. We can go on and on, but that's the idea. That's loneliness. Being alone is, you know, you see, I'm alone, obviously. So, am I lonely right now? Yes. Am I alone? Yes. Now, if there was like three people right here chilling with me, could I still be alone? No, I'm not alone. Could I still be lonely? Yes, I can. But why is that? Like I said, the connection. If they're all sitting there just talking to themselves, I'm not included, or I'm talking to them and it's not any kind of real conversation, or I feel like they're not paying attention, that's gonna hit the loneliness mark because like I don't feel it. It's a feeling, you know. It's a very emotional thing, and I guess some people could like being alone, but I hate when people say, "Oh, you should be happy with yourself. You should be happy by yourself. You should be happy being alone. You should be happy with loneliness." No, loneliness is, that feeling of being alone, isolated, cut off, not connected. Why would you want to be happy with that? I don't like it. You might like it. I mean, that's cool. Maybe you have the kind of personality that warrants that, or your experiences in life, or just your personality. Maybe you're not as emotionally available or ready, or maybe you're busy or don't have the time or something along those lines. In that case, yeah, maybe being alone is better for you and whatnot. Um, but not for everyone, and that's something I wish people understood more because it's just the truth. Like, come on. But it's loneliness. You could you could be in the middle of anything and still feel lonely. Um, you be having sex with a stranger, like you're not alone, obviously, but that loneliness feeling will still hurt you. It will still hit you if you're not connected. That's the thing. I can go talk to a random person right now and be like, blah blah blah. There's no connection there. Still feel lonely. That's why I do enjoy when I can meet someone who can relate because usually they will try to understand. I hope. Sometimes even people that are lonely as well can't understand how someone else might be feel who's going through a similar situation, and that, or they won't be considerate, and those kind of things bother me because if you're going through that, why would you not try to relate to someone else who can relate to you? But it pretty much sucks. You can be lonely and be in a relationship with someone that you love. Like, been there, done that too. It ain't a good feeling, but it's very unpleasant. You get the feeling like it leads you down a dark path. You can basically just, you know, mine will go hand in hand with depression. Um, you can be depressed and lonely. They're also not mutually exclusive. You can have one without the other, and vice versa, I believe. Um, but they definitely can have relations with one another. And some people do like being alone. In my opinion, I would say that's the minority. But sometimes I kind of get the feeling that I'm in the minority, and everyone likes being alone except for me. And it's just I guess you could say, loneliness and depression just playing tricks on you. Mind playing tricks on me. That, you know what I mean? Um, it can lead you to do things and make bad decisions. I've made not the best decisions as to who I would like to associate myself with out of things like loneliness. Um, at one point, I had told myself, and I said, I shouldn't, I shouldn't talk to this person, or I shouldn't associate with this person because I'm just doing it because I feel lonely and I need someone. And time again, I've done it, especially when I was younger. I did a lot. I guess I call it making the best of a bad situation. Um, or I met someone, I'm like, I don't think we're gonna get along too well, or I don't think this is the best for I don't think this is the best for like my mental health or whatever. I see this going bad, and yet I've continued the relationship, and that's not good. I've always said it's best not to make decisions out of desperation or anything. Um, Even though it's kind of hypocritical of me because I've done so before. Done. Let me just talk to this person to like kind of relieve the loneliness feeling a little bit, and I need it a little bit, but ideally I would prefer to find someone who can relate and understand and deal with it because it can be fixed. When you are with the right person, you will not feel lonely. That feeling will not be there. You'll be like, what? I haven't felt that way in a long time, and it's thanks to you. And I've had that feeling before. Now, what happened to those people or that person in particular? There's been a few different ones at different times in my life, of course. I'm not going to get into that right now. Yeah, I mean, you can just assume what happened, or you can ask whatever. But yeah, I don't think everyone has to be like, oh, just be happy. Just be happy being alone. Because people are social beings. They weren't made to be alone. They were made to connect and communicate with one another. That is why we can speak languages. That's why we can read. We can write. We can speak. We can hear. We can see. We have these things for a reason. We have our senses. We have our brains. We have knowledge. We have communication. We have the ability to we have the ability to develop teamwork and whatnot. You get the idea. Relationships, foster relationships, whether they're business, personal, every kind of relationship. I'm throwing it in here. Um, Without that, we wouldn't even be able to procreate. I mean, well, I suppose we would be able to, but we wouldn't have like the family unit as it typically exists. Um, so that'd be a little different. And it would probably make society a lot different as a whole, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, you get the idea. I just wish people would try to be a little more understanding when someone says they're feeling lonely, that it's not you, or maybe it is you, maybe it's them. Because I could say, oh, I feel so alone to someone like right next to me, and they'd be like, I'm right here. And I'm like, yeah, but I still feel lonely because we're not really connected like that. It's like, and I hate saying that to people sometimes. Like I hate saying it to someone like I feel so lonely because I don't want them to feel like I'm leaving them out of the equation or I'm forgetting about them. It's not that. It really isn't that. It's just like I don't feel like we are connecting like that, and that's just the truth. It's not meant to offend, and it shouldn't be taken as an offense necessarily. Um, you're not going to connect with everybody. I did say that connections, relationships, these things are very important to society as a whole and as an individual. That's without a doubt. But everyone isn't for everybody. Everything isn't for everybody. And that's just that. So yeah, that's how my experience of loneliness have sucked. I've made bad decisions. I've hung around people that I probably shouldn't have. I've probably developed feelings for people that I shouldn't have, or that probably wasn't in my own, like, best of my own personal self and whatnot. And done things that I probably look back on now and I'm like, why did I do that? I gave up a little bit of myself too much in order to try to relieve that feeling. But yeah, it's something it goes away for a little while, but it always comes back, especially when you see people that aren't alone. I mean, I know like you instantly see someone alone, a couple, and you're like, damn, I feel so alone, and they're not. But that's just a natural instinct, I suppose, at least for some of us, but not for everybody. Like you can look at them, maybe they're both feeling lonely. You wouldn't even know. I mean, you would hope if they have those feelings, they would talk them out, discuss it, see what's going on, and maybe just separate for the best and meet new people, you know, or that goes for anything. But not always, not always. But yeah, you be the judge. Is it better to be alone, or is it better to be with someone that you still feel lonely around, even though because there's no connection? But you know, like I said, loneliness and alone are not exactly mutually exclusive. Um, so yeah, what do you do about it? Do you deal with loneliness or not? Are you okay with being alone? You don't feel melancholy when you are. You don't need a lot of people to make you happy. Are you happy with yourself, like people say? Are you one of those people? I've met one. I had one good friend. He was like, I don't really need people. I'm cool, And I was like, I'm the opposite. I got a whole bunch of games I can play. Just solo, it's boring. I can watch movies. I'm boring by myself. These hobbies are all much more entertaining when they're done with someone else. To have these conversations and to enjoy and share each other's company and companionship and things of that nature. But anyways, I've gone on long enough about this topic. So as usual, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. Subscribe to the channel if you've done so already. Feel free to like the video if you like the video. Just click that like button below and well, go to the freaking comment section. Leave a comment. Ask me a question. You got a question about loneliness? You feel alone? You can relate. Once again, I make these videos not only for myself to express a feeling and experience, um, but to also relate to you guys and to hope that someone out there can feel at least a bit relieved, and especially on a topic like this. So, as usual, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.